In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, may peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umar bin Abid, and you are watching Umar Linguistics. So, dear viewers, this is the lecture 6 of chapter 2, Phonology and Phonetic Transcription. So, actually, this is a recap of this whole chapter, which we have already discussed in the previous 5 lectures. So, you can watch these lectures as well, or otherwise this recap will introduce you to all the previous 5 lectures, so you may choose any one which you want to watch. Maybe some topics you already know, or maybe some other topics you don't know, so you can choose any of the lectures to watch. So this video is in English. Throughout this video I'll speak in English. If you are interested to watch this video in Urdu, or you can say in Hindi, so I have added the link in the description below, because this channel is bilingual, so therefore I make each video both in English and Urdu. So let's start. In lecture 1 we introduce this chapter, phonology and phonetic transcription. So first of all, we looked at the transcription types, where we discussed there are certain types of transcription, and two of them are citation speech style and the connected speech style. Then we discussed what is phonology and what we study in phonology. Then we discussed distinctive, contrastive, or phonemic sounds. We said that all these three sounds, all these three words are synonymous or to represent some contrastive sounds. For example, b, s, k, t, m, l, or in bet and pet there is one contrastive sounds. So just like that. Then in second lecture we discussed the transcription of consonants in detail with reference to IPA. So we discussed almost all symbols which we use in English for transcribing consonants with reference to IPA. Then we discuss shapes and names of those symbols, and then minimal sets. What are minimal sets? And then alternative symbols other than IPA. For example, we discussed that there are some symbols which are different in various books, or which differ from one book to the other. For example, this sound r, in some books it is written like that, but in some books it is written like that, the downside version of raw, and it is actually used in IPA. And we also discussed that this r sound is actually used for other purposes, so or it is solely used in English. But this sound r, there is difference between these two sounds, a very slight difference, because this sound is usually spoken in most of the languages we discuss, so therefore we use this symbol. All right. And similarly there are some symbols like that which are also not present in IPA but used in other books related to phonology. In lecture 3 we discussed in detail the transcription of vowels. There are some symbols for transcribing contrastive vowels like e, a. So we try to contrast different vowels, but we also talked about that vowels are very complex in different varieties of English. Sometimes a same vowel used for another word in one variety from the other. Then we discuss some alternative symbols for same sound in different books. So this example is also valid for vowels as well. For example, we discuss this sound like shore, or some other sound which are usually not present in IPA chart but used in some books or in some phonological phonological perspectives, or we can say in some books which are related to the phonology of one language or the other. Then we discuss vowels in different varieties of English, and we also discussed the American and British English vowels difference. So we talked about that British English usually have more variation in diphthongs, and there are more number of diphthongs than American English in the British English. Similarly, there are some difference between vowels, and one of the difference is that it is usually transcribed for American English, and for the same version this sound is usually transcribed in British English. Although this sound usually we do not use in a British English, but this sound can be both used in British English as well as in American English. In lecture 4 we discuss consonant and vowel charts in detail. We discuss the division of consonant chart. For example, in vertical column we have manners of articulation, and across the table at the upward side we have the places of articulation. We also discuss that why some consonants are not included in IPA, like this sound, sorry, ch or j. And we also discuss that vowel quality. What is the vowel quality? I have described in detail. Then vowel chart and its limitation. So we actually discussed that vowel chart is actually uh, not three-dimensional. It does not tell us about how the tongue is moving. It even does not tell that how much the tongue is forward in the mouth or how much the tongue is backward in the mouth. Similarly, there are some other limitations as well which we discussed. In lecture 5 we discussed about phonology. So there we discussed phonetic and phonemic transcription and the difference between them. Then phonological processes or sound distributions in different environments like free variation, complementary distribution, contrastive sounds. So all these lectures are available both in Urdu and English language. I have given two separate links where you will see chapter 2 phonology and phonetic transcription, a course in phonetics, and in brackets you will see uh, Urdu, and in another playlist by the same name you will see English. So you can watch all these lectures either in Urdu or in English. Then what are the diacritic marks and what are the some specialized symbol for all allophonic variation, like this alveolar tap written like this, or diacritics like this one, sometimes like this one, dental. We also discuss broad and narrow transcription and the misconception that we usually consider that phonemic transcription cannot be a narrow transcription, but it is actually wrong. Similarly, we have some misconceptions that about phonology and phonetics, and we also discuss what is the impressionistic transcription, and the IPA transcription may take many shapes. It is a very important point. For example, sometimes we want to discuss some contrastiveness even at the level of allophones, so therefore we use then specialized symbols. But sometimes we are not considered, we are not interested in showing much details, so then we exclude these allophones. So next lecture will also be very important, interesting exercises for phonetic transcription. And I assure you, if you watch the previous lectures, especially the transcription of consonants and the transcription of vowels, and after these lectures, if you will watch this video which I am going to upload, so you can easily transcribe uh, not any word, but you will be able, or you will understand the shapes of the symbols, the sounds they represent, and you will able to transcribe many of the words. So stay tuned for this lecture, and I hope you have understood it what I have tried to explain in this lecture. Don't forget to give your feedback. Remember in your prayers, jazakallahu khairan, and thank you. And this is the reference.